Elrufai, Obaseki, Inuwa, others demand subsidy removal, restructuring. So these people, it's time to complete the complete removal of subsidy now, and also asking for restructuring. Elrufai in this group makes me panic because he's not to be trusted. Let's see what they have to say about their demands. With pressing national economic challenges, accentuated by what is best described as structural failure and emerging local and global trends, some governors and other stakeholders say there is a strong sense of urgency for the authorities to save the nation from sinking. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, and his Gombe State counterpart Inuwa Yahaya led the call for the federal government to urgently discontinue the unsustainable fuel subsidy regime, improve power supply, and restructure the country, especially the economy. The governors were among other captains of industry who spoke at the ongoing 28th Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja. While Governor El-Rufai emphatically said, remove subsidy now, Obaseki said there is immediate need to ensure improved and stable power supply to drive production in line with the needed industrialization of the nation. The Edo State Governor said the economy would have been better if the revenues were coming from the states, with the center relying on the component states for funding. On his part, Inuwa stressed the need to restructure the nation's economy in such a way that each state takes priority in areas of comparative advantage. Now, what is required is restructuring in whatever form, especially the economy, he said. On his part, El-Rufai said the Nigerian story would have been better if recommendations of the National Executive Council on federal and state governments' engagement were implemented, adding that Nigeria needs a framework for engagement and enforcement. The only way things can work is when you have collaboration between federal and sub-nationals, he stated. Speaking at the event, Chairman of Stanbic IBTC Bank, Atedo Peterside, lamented what he described as rigged prosperity, saying one of the biggest problems of Nigeria is a combination of criminals and government. The intersection of a few criminals in government is the cause of Nigeria's many problems, he said. Oil theft and petrol subsidy are some of the intersecting points of criminals and people in government. Use of public funds to sponsor people on religious pilgrims is illegal. Pioneer chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, Pascal Dozier, in a keynote address entitled "The Nigerian We Need," said in a plural, multicultural, multi-religious, and multi-ethnic Nigeria, if the state, nation state, and its federating units act in a way that promotes any religious above others, that will be sowing seed of discord. This deters cohesion, progress, and development, he stated. Mr. Dozier said the use of public funds to sponsor persons on religious events, to build places of worship, and the like contradicts the secular nature of Nigeria as agreed by the founding fathers at independence. Ours is a secular state and must be seen to be so. In normative, positive, and practical terms, he added. The former NESD chairman said Nigeria must strive to shape legislative lists and powers to make laws, such as to have relevant tiers of government to be responsible for those issues that are best suited for. Former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olumide Akpata, said power is the first thing that should be dealt with in repositioning the Nigerian economy besides security. He said, if elected as Nigerian president and I am not able to deal with the issue of power, shut me out. We've heard that before. Dozier said Nigeria economy is one that urgently needs a positive regulatory environment that is private sector and business enhancing. It therefore behoves on government, federal government of Nigeria, states and local government to depersonalize institutions by leveling the playing field and making it attractive to investments, both local and foreign, he stated. So the ongoing Nigerian Economic Summit at Abuja, all right, this is what is coming out of it. And 3 out of all the governors that attended have come out with their demands. Why Elrufai, all right, is there demanding for some democratic processes to be implemented to help the economy to grow, all right? Some other governors are asking for restructuring, especially on the side of the economy, all right, so that the states will be in charge of what they are producing and then be paying some revenues to the central, which is the federal government. Others are asking for the removal of the fuel subsidy, saying that it's one of the problems that we're having in the country. And others are also asking for improvement of the power sector, all right, in power sector, because that is what actually helps in production, in manufacturing sector. Now, the energy sector of Nigeria is dead. People, and that is why the manufacturing is not happening in Nigeria, because people cannot be using fuel to do business. Manufacturing cannot use fuel, just their own fuel. So government is supposed to make sure that the provision of power to all sections of the country is very, very imperative for production to take place, for the country to be productive, for entrepreneurs who wish to go in production to also courageously go into it and succeed in it. Unfortunately, the power sector is one of the dwindling sectors in the country. All right? And some people have also mentioned that, this issue of fuel subsidy and oil theft in the country is one of the points of intersection between criminals and the people in power. Unfortunately, the people in power claim not to know the perpetrators of this oil theft. All right? And that cannot be accepted, because government has a means of monitoring all the vessels in Nigerian waterways or all the foreign vessels arriving in Nigerian territorial water. But unfortunately, they are not monitoring that. They are not providing the necessary information and monitoring required to be able to curb that oil theft. So this National Economic Summit that's going on at Abuja now has a few things that are demanding Nigerians to do, and I just hope that at the end of this summit, most of these demands will take place. Now, this issue of subsidy is what Elrufai is asking that it should be removed. But I know that Elrufai will be the least or the last person to ask for restructuring, because it's part of the Northern agenda never to restructure Nigeria, because they feel that if they restructure Nigeria, the Northerns will lose. Northerners will lose because they are not practically not producing anything. The oil, which is the mainstay of the economy of Nigeria, is coming from the south. And so the north is being threatened that if they restructure the country, they obviously will not have anything to fall back on. So there are a few comments here. Somebody is saying Buhari is not able to solve any economic or political problem. All he knows is earning soldiers around, and they solve no problem. To me, he is just wasting our time and compounding our woes. All right. Somebody say nothing is working as of now because he could not allow those who can provide solution to our problem with nepotistic habits, incompetent and dominate position critical to development. You see? So it means that the people that have the the capability to solve our problem are not there. He's rather using nepotistic habit and putting incompetent people to dominate key positions and not allowing the country to move forward. Now, wow, God will help us. So this is what is coming from Nasser Elrufai, Obaseki, and this governor of the Inuwa Yahaya Gombe State Governor. Yeah, Inuwa Yahaya Gombe State Governor. This is what I say about helping Nigeria to move forward from the National Economic Summit that is ongoing. So thank you for listening, and let's see how all of these will transcend to realities after the summit.